Hi, good afternoon. My name is Susan. I'm the CEO of the Qlink, and I was sitting in the panel this morning talk about how the blockchain technology can really come into the real life. And we are actually one of the projects does so. This is a project that focuses on improving the network efficiency and the transparency. And so first of all, we built the first decentralized mobile network powered blockchain. So I think many of you in this room were just like me. We can't live without the internet. It's the first thing that we do in the morning and last thing we check before we go to bed. But how many of you have a think about the problems of existing networks? So, for example, the mobile data is very expensive. I have to pay $20 per day for my stay in the US for just data roaming. And if I spend 5 days here, it's $100 bill. And there are other issues as well. So for example, privacy. Do you actually trust the bill that AT&T or Verizon send to you every month? Are you really using that much of data? They are saying so. Well, there's other issues as well while using the network. So for example, do you really trust the comments that put up on the Yelp? And are the people that put up the comments actually being there? So those are the issues that we talk about on the internet. There's big problems on the unbalanced resource as well. So for example, one family in the US that's probably have, let's just say four people. And you may have 3 computers, at least 3 cell phones, and 1 router at your home. But when you are away from your home, half of resources are wasted. You don't really use the router for the network. You don't really use a computer. So those are the unbalanced resources at each person's hand. So what is the Qlink? We just empower everyone to share your networking resources that become the operator by yourself, and we incentivize you for sharing. This is the concept, and the process is actually pretty easy. Here's what we do. We have different devices, no matter it's router, cell phone, or any base station, network-related base station. So we register them on the blockchain, and they will support the Qlink protocol, become a full node of our network. And then, I haven't said that, the network itself will register on the public chain. In this case, it could be Ethereum, it could be Neon, it could be any public chain that's available on the market. And then all the ledgers between the shares and users will be recorded as a transaction. For example, I just set up the Wi-Fi of this conference room. It's called MIT blockchain. And I just registered Wi-Fi on the public chain. And whoever uses that Wi-Fi, you connect him to my cell phone. You don't have to input the password. And you have to pay me the cryptocurrency that I created, which is the QLC in this case. And I'm going to give you a demo later. If you have our app on your cell phone, you actually can do this. So those are the things that are the dApp we talked about. And Dr. Tapp will talk about design of the blockchain system. This is actually a real case of our blockchain. And we have on the top, those are the SDKs and APIs that connect to the dApps. For the Wi-Fi sharing I just talked about, that's actually account sharing protocols, which you can use other person's accounts without knowing what account number actually it is. And there's a decentralized name resolution, billing, decentralized firewall, and I wouldn't go into too much details. In the core, there's a consensus. Dr. Tapp talked about POW, But TLW is one of the consensus very common in the blockchain. And we have other consensus as well. DPoS, the PoS. So all this consensus will have one potential failure, is alliance of the miner of the resources. We just now talk about maybe 40% of the hashing power concentrated with the one party that could potentially result in the failure of the whole system. Actually, in the world right now, 33% of the mining power was controlled by the three alliance, Bitcoin miner alliance. So if that alliance keep growing, and that could potentially raise up the failure of the whole Bitcoin system. And the POS is essentially the same because it's a ownership of the token alliance. And in our system, this is the core part of how of our architecture. What do we call Shannon consensus? As a networking projects, we focus on a consensus that could truly decentralize the network. So during network, one of the reality is that 80% of transmission was done by 20% of nodes. The nodes are extremely concentrated. But how can you decentralize the nodes? The one secret is you separate the working nodes and the transmission nodes. The transmission nodes are working nodes that only focus on the transmission. And the ledger nodes were the ones who are less active on the transmission, but on the top of the ledger. So the benefits will be the companies like Google have a huge capacity of transmission, storage, and the search will never occupy the power of the ledger. So when you're actually using Google, the record of between you and Google was recorded by the third party, which can be trusted in this case. So there's other things that we build upon the consensus, such as virtual machines and other components. And this that results the complete the public chain system. The APIs I just talked about. So today I actually want to show you our technology, which is available on the Google Play already. So this is app I just pre-installed, and I registered my. Just give me 1 second. I registered my Wi-Fi already. So when you register Wi-Fi, there is a small contract badge, and it's automatically fill in the necessary information we can fetch through your Wi-Fi, and you can build your small contracts in terms of how many cryptocurrency. In this case, we charge the QLC, and how many connections you want other persons to be shared. And the second person, because I don't have a second phone right now, so if I have the second person come in, the sync with the blockchain and read the information of that block, and which I just registered the Wi-Fi. By click, I established the P2P connection with the share and the user. The kind of information will just pass to me without knowing that information, what exactly the password is. So that could be, you have a lot of user cases, such as a hotel. They have to constantly change the password to keep the safety. And people have to go to the hotel, constantly ask for the password. So if you have this app, it's going to be very easy for them to manage. And on the top, we build decentralized VPN, because a lot of countries in the world, they do confined by the firewall. So decentralized VPN is one of the solutions that people can just set up the VPN service to be shared and earn QLC. Because of this product, one of our community members, they already earned 10,000 QLC through decentralized VPN sharing. This is pretty much our technology. And a little bit about our tokens, and we're listed on quite a few exchanges: Binance, KuCoin, Gate.io. Binance is the largest in crypto exchanges. We are preparing to launch our technology in the US as well. So we're looking for the people that can help us to set up VPNs and to validate the consensus I just mentioned. If you haven't taken any picture of my presentation, this is the part you can get your cell phone out, just scan the code, and keep in touch with us on the Discord. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much.